Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is number 123 for May 29th, 2024. I am Nemesis, and I am joined by Alcatraz.
123 episode.
Yep,
Nice.
1, 2, 3.
Yes. Hello, by the way.
Yeah, so, again, we're coming back a week early because, last week was technically a week late, so...
We're fixing our schedule.
We're just getting it back on track, so everything's hunky-dory. Not much, at least I didn't see a whole lot, but there's actually one big thing that was popped up, which is interesting anime-wise. A new Ghost in the Shell anime has been announced for 2026, being done by Science Saru.
Another Ghost in the Shell.
Yes.
Interesting.
But Science Saru, who is really well known for their animation. So,
good or bad?
Good.
Good.
Really good, apparently.
Nice. Is it going to have ScarJo in
They
it?
also tend to be They also tend to be very experimental as well with their animation as well. So we'll see how that works. Yeah,
That can go either really good or really bad. Ghost in the Shell is something where experimentation in animation styles could get some really cool and wild
Science
things.
Saru, Bandai Namco Filmworks, and Production IG.
Well, Production IG, obviously. They
Yeah.
kind of own the IP, I think.
Yeah. Yep. So that's the big news that popped up literally this morning as of recording.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is pretty new.
Beyond that, personally, I'm keeping up with the other stuff. Dungeon Meshi, I've been keeping up with. Keeping up still with Whisper Your Love Song. I also caught up on Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. I keep saying the name wrong. I've been saying Jellyfish can't swim or can't swim
at.
I keep saying swim at, and it's swim in the night.
Swim in the night.
Yeah, I've kind of caught up on that, and very glad I did. Still a couple other things that I need to catch up on because there's a lot of stuff this season I really want to watch.
Yeah, I've been busy.
So I'm trying to catch up on a lot of stuff, but also trying to keep up with the show and other things I want to watch. And finite time sucks sometimes.
Why can't we just have infinitely long days whenever we want?
Yeah, I just need to pause time so I can watch all this stuff and come back. Anyway, we're here to talk about that stuff in anime. Like we said last time, we're here to talk about a somewhat older anime now. Actually, a decade old. Over a decade old now.
Don't make me feel the pain of age.
WataMote, no matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault I'm not popular. Or Watashi ga motenai no wa do kangai temo omara ga warui.
Sure.
Omaira. Yeah.
Omaira.
Ga warui, yeah. Yes, it is an anime about a very much introverted teenage girl who just entered high school. That's the gist of it as a whole.
That's the gist of it.
I'm going to say this up front. This is an anime which is going to be divisive just because of the nature of it. It's not like it's a particularly offensive, mostly. I'll get into that a little bit, but it's very reliant on cringe comedy, and if that rankles you, you're not going to enjoy this.
Depending on how it rankles you.
Yeah, cringe comedy, some people just can't do it.
Yeah, and it depends. I think for me, it depends on how it's presented and how often and
But regardless, it's just it's cringe comedy. A lot of the jokes come from just how much the main character is screwing up.
Yeah, it's basically you'll sit back and watch this girl make a fool of herself.
Yeah, and it's really bad sometimes. it's the kind you have to frequently pause just so you can get yourself together and
just so you can breathe again from the oh no.
The secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, secondhand, third party.
Yeah, so you could enjoy it, but there's definitely also on top of it beyond that. For me personally, there's also definitely a couple things about it which kind of
yeah.
It's got its moments, but it's definitely also got a lot of little problems here and there that pop up. Nothing's overtly bad, nothing huge, overtly. But just a bunch of little things start popping and be like, it kind of dampens the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's the initial thing. But getting into the details, so it's like I said, it's about a girl named Tomoko Kuroki who, she's entering high school. It's her first year of high school, so she's in 10th grade, and she's an introvert. She's awkward. She's shy. She has severe social anxiety. It's pretty obvious.
But she still wants to be popular.
And she's trying to figure out how does she reinvent herself for high school, and utterly fails at that.
Yep.
In fact, arguably in many ways is worse off than she was in middle school.
Probably.
So the thing about Tomoko is a lot of recent characters, have been in that, awkward introvert, particularly in a lot of recent anime. Komi-san can communicate, Bocchi the Rock, Tori Bocchi, so on and so forth, right? These are characters that are very much introverts, have a hard time socializing and whatnot. But she's kind of different.
Yeah.
In that her personality, she's not really a good person in many ways, I would say. So there's a lot of things about her. Her internal monologue, basically, she seems to rapidly oscillate between having a humongous ego and realizing how actually insignificant she is.
Yeah.
It was like, for contrast, it was like, Bocchi from Bocchi the Rock, who is just a full-blown, I am worse than a water flea. I am less than a water flea.
And this is
the thing, is like this, initially, the manga this was based on got a lot of popularity on 4chan back in the day because a lot of people on 4chan saw themselves in her.
Exactly.
It's an early version of She Just Like Me for real.
Yes.
Because, it's the same thing, not only socially introverted, but also thinking genuinely that I am better than everyone else, It's unironically, am I so out of touch? No, it is my classmates who are wrong.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I noted here as one of the big things. She doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
There's a few things she doesn't realize about herself. But yeah, she's an introvert. She doesn't know how to deal with social situations, but she doesn't seem to have, at least not, sometimes she does, but a lot of times she doesn't have the self-realization of her actual standing and what she's like from the outside.
Yeah, just like, but at the same time, she does understand it, but then she just she immediately dismisses it.
Yeah, it's one of those, and I wonder if it's almost like a coping mechanism, sort of like a subconscious rejection of reality.
Her ego is having a hard time dealing with the fact that most of her problems are probably her own fault.
Or it could be the ego is a defensive, like she knows it, but doesn't want to, and starts. I've seen that before, where it's like, seeing these negatives is bad, so I'm going to reject them, and a false ego comes into play to reject them. No, I'm not like that. I'm great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we see her inner monologue. She's not exactly kind to her classmates and whatnot.
No, she hates her classmates.
Any girl who's more popular than her, which means every single one of them is a slut.
Yep.
In her head,
and then she tries to become one just because she wants the popularity.
Yeah, and then
to emulate it at least.
Yeah, and then she goes and says, "Well, she's just too much woman for a man to handle, right?"
Right.
That's what it really is.
Yeah.
So you got that whole thing. Even like she has a friend from middle school, Yu Naruse.
Mm-hmm.
She was, also kind of low on the social ladder. She was a nerdy girl with glasses, kind of had the same interests with Tomoko, but then she kind of somewhat reinvents herself for high school. Gets rid of the glasses, starts wearing contacts, changes her hair. Also, puberty hits her a little bit. And,
a little bit.
Yeah, and Tomoko gets upset over this, and even her the one and only friend in the world she has, she will talk crap about her in her head.
Yep.
Now she's also a slut because she's basically it's Tomoko's. It's like, oh, she's prettier than me.
Yep.
I hate this.
Yep. It's one of those weird inferiority complexes that reverses itself.
Yeah.
It's like it underflows. Again, I see it. It's not uncommon.
Overflow.
We have to reject the bad feelings about ourselves, so we have to come up with some excuse.
Because it can't possibly be my fault.
It can't possibly be my fault. It has to be your fault. I'm not popular. The way
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, it's a class. Her classmates. The boys in her class don't appreciate her beauty. The girls in her class are just doing everything they can to make her look bad.
Yep.
It's not the fact that she barely can get 2 words out when it's so quiet you can barely understand her.
Yep.
She has a hard time making eye contact. She mumbles and
she doesn't take care of herself.
That's another thing too.
That's a big one. She doesn't ever really take care of herself. She stays up till ungodly hours and then doesn't sleep. So she has permanent bags under her eyes, except for that one time.
Yeah, which is weird because her brother is the same bags.
Her brother's the same way,
even though he does take care of himself.
Yes,
almost like hereditary.
There's probably a combination. But, she doesn't take care of herself.
Because she has a brother named Tomoki, who's younger than her. Used to look up to her, but then, she changed and he changed because they got older, and, now he just
doesn't want anything to do with her.
He wants nothing to do with her. because she's annoying and embarrassing.
It's kind of interesting of all the anime that have sibling relationships. This is one of the few that I've seen that actually gets closer to reality on sibling interaction.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of them actually get it right. Just depends on which one you're looking at.
Yeah, obviously it depends on which one, but it's just funny how so many of them. Some of you watch the sibling interaction and go, the writer never had siblings.
Yeah, but then again, also different culture as well. But yeah, because Tomoki's also really harsh on her in some ways. Like sometimes he's justified, but other times like it's just a little it's a little much, I feel.
Maybe.
But like it's weird because like, again, they show that way when he was there much younger, he used to look up to her, but yeah, now she just.
It could be that he's just become kind of cold after after a few years of just dealing with her and just done with it.
Because we also see that she used to be pretty different too, but obviously she changed. It's just a weird thing of just something changed with her that made her have a difficult time with.
She became a weeb.
Yeah, otaku over there. Remember, she's an otaku.
I know, it's otaku.
So that's one of the things. Yeah, she's into a lot of that. She plays a lot of like the VNs and stuff, like visual novels, like romance visual novels. She play, the pretty boys and them and everything.
Yep.
She likes that sort of stuff. She watches a lot of anime. They parody a lot of different anime throughout this whole thing.
Oh, geez, they reference and parody it all the time. It's great.
Yeah, throughout this whole thing, there's a lot of them. And of course, the weird thing was on the official translation had notes about what anime they're parodying. It's like, okay.
Yep. Spending way too much time on the internet.
Yep.
Just like me, for real.
Yeah, and also, looking at websites that give you really bad advice, too.
Yeah, basically, a lot of her problems come down to she's causing it because she has a really bad idea of what real life is like.
Yeah.
She got her entire impression of what real life and what romance and dating is like from video games. So you see, again, why 4chan loved this.
Yeah. Yeah, she also has a cousin named Kiko Sachizaki who... she's much younger, idealized her, like really, looked up to Tomoko, and then recently we're discovering, Tomoko's cheating at a card game to impress a bunch of little kids.
Yep.
To actually not to impress, but to win a tournament against a bunch of little kids. Like,
yep.
Oh, I feel sorry for you. And then suddenly she goes from I'm looking up to I must protect this idiot.
This idiot. Yeah.
And just, because at first it's like, because Tomoko's noting that, she looks up at her with adoration like she's a puppy. Now it's like, why does she look at me like I'm a wounded puppy?
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting. How, of course, on top of that, you have the whole thing with like a whole bunch of like just awkward encounters of the whole thing. That's a lot of just a string of awkward encounters, and her reading too much into stuff like, oh, the guy who drew her portrait for art class.
Oh, he drew me so cute. Let's see me for who I really am. No, that's just literally the same picture he draws for every background character he draws.
Yeah, he just goes like, that's the fastest face I can draw.
Yep.
Also, at first he's like, ew, gross. He's fat and ugly.
Yep.
I would never want anything to do with him. Then she saw the picture and went, what? And then
Yep.
Very easily swayed by stuff like that because it's like practically like touch starved in a way.
Sort of. I mean, well, she is. She's absolutely desperate. That's
the
one of her driving
kicks
forces.
in, and then she's willing to just drop her standards.
Yep. She's desperate. She's absolutely desperate for approval. That's the word I'm looking for. Is that the word I'm looking for? Acceptance, approval, attention.
Yeah.
She wants to be accepted, and I get that. And that's probably one of the things that hurts a lot is the parts where it matches herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you see the pain that she's in.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it worse because you see that she's making it worse. Just stop. One of the things you said, she overthinks things, but it's that particular kind of overthinking where she gets an idea and overthinks on that one idea and gets locked in on that and can't see the other things. Kind of overthinking. It's
like the bit where she got stuck on her shelter and when the pouring down rain because her umbrella broke and there's two boys there and she's like just trying to just to avoid. And then she's like, well, no, I could totally make a conversation here. Then just says the most worst things you can say. Yeah. They're confused, and then,
Yep.
Then she goes to the bathroom, then she comes back and there's an umbrella there for her again.
Yeah.
And she's confused. Yeah. Because the whole thing, actually, she fell asleep at one point too.
Yeah, because she came back, she fell asleep, and one of the boys bought her a new umbrella and left it for her.
Yeah, and then of course there's the awkward thing where, her cousin Kiko thought she was dating this guy because of course she has a boyfriend, right?
Yep, because she faked that story.
And then so Kiko thinks, then she's
the same boy,
and it's like, oh boy, now she has to apologize and explain everything. And it's like, oh God, that's just make things worse.
Yep, your lies are catching up to you.
Of course, there's also the weird thing, like some of it's like they're being really judgy of her for something kind of insignificant, like the thing with the cockroach. Everyone's freaking out over the cockroach. She takes care of the problem by killing it. She crushes it, and everyone's just like acting like she just did something awful.
Yeah.
It's like, she took care of the problem you all freaked out over.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the stereotypical girl reaction might be to go, ew, but honestly, that would make the boys go, that's awesome.
I don't know.
It's especially like a bunch of like freshmen. Yeah.
It's just really odd that there's like they're all like freaking out of the cockroach, and when she takes care of it, like something she's more of a pariah.
Yeah, that one was kind of odd.
Yeah, but we also at the same time see sometimes her classmates make genuine attempts to befriend her or something, and she just
she doesn't know how to handle it. Yep.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, she was at first she was in the way back corner of the classroom, then she flipped smack in the middle of everything, and someone was actually trying to talk to her just in a friendly way, and and then like, wow, she actually talked back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Awkward encounter after awkward encounter, and like her thinking like because the whole maiden in love makes girls more beautiful because she played that VN
and she fell in love with the main character, and that's the one day that she didn't have dark bags under her eyes. So
then she tries to repeat the whole thing and just makes it worse eventually because eventually she also stops bathing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So then her hair becomes oily, and then she gets covered in ants, and it's like, oh,
God. Yeah. Oh, no, so that one, because she had something explode in her face. She had, like, one of her drinks explode in her face, so she was all...
Yeah.
Probably had sugar and stuff in her hair, and then she went out to play during, like, outside during break, and she found a thing of ants, and they went up her leg.
Yeah.
So then she had ants in her all the time.
Ugh.
And she didn't realize it.
I would have noticed immediately.
That... crawling, you can feel them. I mean, she noticed at first, she just didn't notice later, I guess.
Also, we see things with like her mom trying to get her to actually cooperate.
Oh, because she doesn't help around on the house, and her mom gets mad.
Yeah, which apparently she used to, and then she stopped doing it at some point.
Those darn video games.
My guess it just hit the teenage years, and
yeah.
Her brother, probably would, but he had the teenage years and saw his sister slacking, and all right, I guess I'll help.
Had to pick up the slack.
Yeah. It's just a weird thing there, and like, also her mom catching her trying to give herself hickeys with a vacuum.
Oh, jeez.
What the hell are you doing?
What are you doing?
Or the awkward thing when she tried to do that, she got the voice line from the voice actor.
Yeah.
And then she tried to edit her own voice lines in too, and she forgot to put the headphones in.
Yeah, because
just sitting there looking at each other.
Yes, they
and
play.
The mom's just like, I'll see dinner. Just
yep.
Just
not dealing with this. Just not dealing. Or the one with the dad.
Yep. Oh, yeah, the misunderstanding because she won an actual massage tool.
It was a wand massager, and she was using it for its...
She also bought a yaoi game.
Yeah, and she was using the massager on her shoulders, which is sort of what you're supposed to use them for.
But she fell asleep because she was just super tired, and Dad came home and talked to her and saw that and just kind of said nothing, just scooped her up, put her in bed, and left.
Which...
Shut off all the stuff, put her in bed, and...
Honestly, that's kind of wholesome. It's like,
I'm not going to deal with this. I don't want to deal with that.
I'm not going to think about that, but I'm going to just put her to bed.
There's also a weird thing going on, which is Tomoko's sexuality is weird.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It feels pretty clear that she's bi, and I've heard called later stuff in the manga. I haven't read it personally, but I've been told stuff about it. But it's more or less kind of starts to really much push harder on this. But she's basically going on this idea that she's straight, but she keeps trying to do stuff like feeling up, you, right? She tried to actually feel up you.
Yeah.
At one point, it's like, it's totally fine because we're having a best friend hug, right? I could totally just grab her butt, right?
Yep.
And like,
there's other little bits.
Yeah, those little bits of here and there, basically, which kind of make it clear she does find an attraction to girls. She just hasn't really consciously been willing to accept it yet. She keeps denying it. Like, no, I'm not like that. But yeah, and particularly in the later in the manga, the manga kind of veers into Yuri Heron territory. Not kidding.
Oh boy.
Like, for real. She actually gets an actual group, a social group. She actually gets one.
That's what she needs.
They adjust. Yeah, the manga tells in a different path down the line. Basically, yeah, she gets a group of girls around her who are her most social group. She actually gets friends, and the thing was also implication these girls are also kind of into her in a romantic way, but she's kind of oblivious to it. Because of course, even though then again there's a whole thing where it's like apparently she's like trying to pick up on the idea that and accept the idea that she's attracted to girls too. But that's a whole thing. But yeah, it's anime drops little things here and there that makes it kind of clear that she does have an attraction to girls. So she's not really fully willing to accept yet.
Yeah.
Although sometimes she starts to give into it and then she bails out again. Well, that's the other thing I just remembered. But one thing you were talking about, she's so starved for attention that at one point she actually, when she hears about people, other high school girls being groped on the train, she actually starts to think that she would like it.
Yep.
She wants it to happen to her because that just means, in her mind, it's been warped into that means people find me attractive.
Yeah, because
it's never happened to
nothing, right?
Yeah, and then when she thinks it's happening to her, she realizes how horrifying it is.
Yep.
Granted, it turned out to be a misunderstanding. Namely, a girl had a prop was a
It was and I forgot the name. It's one of those training swords.
Yeah.
It's a bamboo bamboo.
But anyway, she got a prop one, and she accidentally because what happened was the train got rushed. Tomoko got lifted up in the air by the crowd of people coming in. Eventually, she got dropped down. When she got dropped down, on this pole.
Yep.
And then she felt it, and she freaked out because at first what she thought it was.
Yep. And
then when she tried to get out, get away from it, it Kent followed her.
Yep.
Because it was all caught in her clothes or something, and then when she tried to freak out, tried to tell people there's a groper
Turns out no,
it was just there was this awkward situation. That was the other thing with girls trying to get it out, but it wasn't working. Yeah,
not working. Yep.
But yeah, still, it's just one of those things where it's like, she just went, this would be great if it happened to me. Oh God, it would be horrible.
It's not.
It's awful, actually. Because
yes,
at first she was kind of weirdly jealous because, again,
you're that touch starved and desperate for any sort of
validation, like a great idea.
I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like, because that means they find you attractive, right?
Someone does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. No.
That one she actually learned.
Yeah, she did learn that one.
There's some stuff, she kind of learns a lesson then immediately rejects it because, well, no. Again, not my fault.
Not my fault. It's everyone else's fault. She's also kind of a perv.
Yeah, she's a bit of a perv. Again, that comes up with the whole sexuality thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes too. But pretty clear that, bit of a perv. It's just that basically the weird gay thoughts catch up to her, and then she kind of goes...
It's not always even gay thoughts.
No, it's not, but... It's basically just a series of her just in taking an awkward situation and even making it worse.
Yep.
In some way, shape, or form, because she just can't help herself because, again, part of it just there's the self-awareness is just not there.
Yep. Not enough self-awareness or a rejection of the self-awareness because it's too painful.
It's just, and then it's like, 4chan, you guys identify with this girl?
Yeah.
Are you really willing to admit that you're that messed up?
Yeah. This is 4chan. They don't care. They revel in it. 4chan revels in being the cesspool.
Then again, it's the whole thing. It's like they lack. That's not. I don't think it's reveling. I think they just also lack the self-awareness.
A lot of them, yeah, probably. It's a combination of the two.
They just genuinely lack the self-awareness, and they identify with this character, not realizing that a lot of these traits that she has are not positive traits. And again, they do improve as apparently the manga goes on. She gets into a much healthier place overall. And one of the things we actually start seeing the beginnings of that with the
The one
the
student council person.
student council president, Megumi.
Is she the president or
student council president?
Okay, because I know she was on the student council. I know she was part of the planning committee
but
too.
She sees something in Tomoko that it's like she's like one of the few people who actually sees through her.
Yeah,
a bit, and sees something deep at her core. That's something that just needs to be brought out.
Yeah,
she just needs someone to help her bring her real self out, and she's actually being real patient and gentle with her, despite the fact everyone else isn't. It's like she actually kind of is like, yeah, she's the extrovert who found her.
Yep.
She found her introvert.
I want to say it was something, I could be misremembering this, but I want to say it was also something like seeing that through all of her failures, she keeps persisting.
Yeah, that too. There's that
she just keeps trying.
She saw this girl is still trying despite the fact she's utterly failing at all this stuff.
But she doesn't stop trying.
Yeah, so that's another thing. So
maybe sometimes she should stop, but in some ways. But yeah.
So they also did an OVA, which was a weird thing.
Yeah, it's like starts after, but then it reverts to like
So
okay, now we're
the
going to do
OVA
a
first. It starts off as a weird joke, as they're implying they're going to do a season 2 with the. You're not getting a season 2.
No.
And like her Tomoko trying to make major changes, like putting herself in a lesbian polycule thing with her best friend and her cousin, who by the way they're trying to rewrite their characters and stuff, and trying to make herself more popular. And then we have this boy who met her in middle school, met a cool older girl in middle school, and he's a bit chuny, and then never saw her again. And then we revert and we find, it actually was her.
Yep.
The entire time. And thing was, at the time she was taller than him, and now she's kind of stopped growing, and so he's taller than her, and he turns out to be a friend with her brother, and there's a whole weird thing there because we see his perspective, including her looking all cool and stuff. And then we see her perspective, including her utter failure when she, got herself locked on top of the school.
Yep, jumped off the roof and sprained her leg, and then later
got trapped up there and got yelled at because,
Yeah.
with her
You're somewhere you shouldn't have been, and if no one would have found you, you would have been stuck up there the entire weekend.
Yep. That's the other thing, is it takes, like, we see a chunk of that episode takes place in her 3rd year.
Yeah, so it's like it jumps forward in time and then jumps back and does like a prequel thing because we're now suddenly looking at her middle school, and then jumps back forward and realize, well, this middle schooler who was younger than her is now just getting into high school, so that must mean that she's like in 3rd year now.
Yep. Yeah, it's just interesting because it's a time jump, but also we don't see a whole lot of the future either, because a lot of the future would also include her newfound harem.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
The OVA is weird and easily skippable.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount of meat to it.
Yeah. So the other thing is, this was animated by Silverlink.
Yeah,
I'm trying to see stuff. They've done stuff this year as well. Oh, they did the spy one we just watched with the weird,
right.
Yeah, they just did that. It was Akura.
Yeah.
They did Baccarina.
Yeah, I was just about to say. It's on my game.
That.
No, yeah.
Yeah, they've done a couple things recently. Quite a few. Non-Biori.
Non-Biori.
Jaha-sama. Yeah, they've done quite a few things that are well known.
Yeah,
including this.
Some Fate stuff.
Yep.
They're a pretty big studio.
As for Tomoko's voice for Uzumi Kita, who hasn't done stuff in a couple years now, but she did someone in Bang Dream. Not a whole lot. I'm looking. It looks like most of the stuff I don't recognize.
Yeah.
Yu Naruse Kana Hanazawa. Oh, hey, she's just. Oh, yeah, she was. Oh, yeah, Hotaru from that other thing we just did.
Yeah.
The one you hated the guy.
Yeah.
She's in that. She's in Demon Slayer. All that stuff. Yeah, same thing we did there. Tomoki Yuichi Nakamura. Do I recognize any of this stuff? Oh, Boku no Hero. Keigo, I know who that is. Okay. Oh, is that the Loser Ranger thing? Okay, yeah, I think that's someone out right now. He's doing quite a few things still. Still active. Oh, Undead Unlock. Oh, Free Ren. He was Sane. Sane in Free Ren.
Ah.
The guy who wanted an older woman.
Yep.
Kept rejecting Free Ren. Oh, marginal services. So yeah, quite a few things.
Yeah.
Spy Family in one point. Oh, I remember him. I don't think you saw him because you didn't watch that part. Kiko Rie Kugimiya.
It looks like what, Chica's sister in Sunshine in the Mirror, Yohane?
Yeah. Yeah.
Digimon.
That's the mom.
Or mom?
That's Chica's mom.
Yeah, it's mom, right. I don't know.
That means also Sunshine. Oh, Pip and Me. Oh, she's in Shadow House.
Haha, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
mom.
Magia record. Toka Satomi.
Some Pip and Me.
One of them.
Yeah. Quite a few
once
things.
Again, quite a few things there. Megumi Ainonaka. Oh, look. Kyoko Sakura.
Whom? Who was I looking at?
Ainonaka. Yeah, who did Megumi, voices Kyoko, Serval. Also a character in Fate. Yep. So that's a character that's a voice you know. Yeah, it's pretty much all the major characters, honestly. But yeah. As a whole, again, this is the second time for me watching this, but yeah, it's hard to get through because you keep having to pause it because, oh God, I can't handle this amount of embarrassment right now. I got to stop for a second so I can regain my bearings and continue. So then I'll pause it 3 minutes from now so I can, oh God, I have to do it all over again.
Right, yeah. It's not hard. Everyone will have to do that. It depends on how the cringe affects you. For us, it's one of those. It just hurts because I've been in similar situations.
Sometimes, yes.
I've screwed up similar situations, but nowhere near that badly. Yeah. But
on the other hand, also just it's several. Some people are just not going to be able to handle it at all.
Yeah, some people just won't. Some people just hate that style. Some people just hate those characters.
Yeah. That's the thing is everything I've heard is the manga gets significantly better after the point of the anime's adaptation because apparently the anime adapts to all the way through chapter 30. And apparently the manga gets significantly better.
Well, maybe they should keep the anime going past that point.
The anime apparently didn't do that great in the first place. I'm not sure, but it was one of those weird things. Apparently the manga was on the verge of cancellation, and then people on 4chan bought a ton of copies to keep it going.
Right, one of those
because they liked it so much. And as time went on, the book changed a lot. So yeah, it's a strange thing in its own right. So I don't know if I can totally recommend it.
Yeah, it's one of those.
On top of that, the main character is also just sometimes just not a great person.
Yeah,
and that's not necessarily a bad thing per se. You can have lots of great media with not great protagonists, but
sometimes you don't need a good person in the protagonist role to have a good show.
Yeah. But it's still just like, man, her thought process is just pretty bad sometimes. And it's so frustrating sometimes when she just refuses to learn. And that can be another thing, is that's her just refusing to learn, from her experience. Just keeps doubling down on it's not my fault.
Except that it is, though.
Yeah, and just not refusing to accept refusing to accept the scroll of truth that sometimes some of your problems are your own fault.
Yep. It's like sometimes while watching it, you just want to, just like, Tomoko,
listen,
Tomoko. I'm going to teach you some things.
You need to learn these things now.
Here's some tricks to deal with this.
But again, we got the character.
I want to teach some things.
Apparently, again, later in the manga, the character does change and grow. So it's one of those things. It's like the anime basically just got the bad early part, and that's it.
Only animated the worst parts of this. Come on.
And then yeah, that's like why keep going. It's not doing that great or something. I'm not sure.
It gets better.
That doesn't mean anything if it's not doing well now.
I know.
Yeah, it's just. It's a weird one.
It is a weird one.
And I don't know how to fully feel about it. Like, there's good bits, there's bad bits, and it's just sometimes just really frustrating in a way that's not fun.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting, and I guess in the culture of anime and weebery, it's somewhat important just because of how prevalent it became. But as far as the show itself is concerned, just in an isolated context, it's...
Yeah.
I guess the Annie List recommendation of 66% score is actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It's not the worst, but...
Sure is okay, I guess.
Yeah. It's got some redeeming aspects, but it's got some not redeeming aspects, too. I will say that the OP goes hard.
Oh yeah, yeah, really hard. It's
the
a
OP
weird thing.
goes
It's like
weirdly hard.
little, almost a little edgy.
Yeah, which I mean, I guess fits for Tomoko, maybe.
She
somewhat.
thinks herself that cool, and you're not.
Yeah,
that
she
cool.
thinks she's that cool.
You're not that cool because the ED is more like this is what actually really you're like.
Yeah, well, the
Including her
ED also
kinda holding-
changes. They have multiple EDs that they
but
shift
there's one
about.
specifically. But one specifically, you were like, oh,
Yeah, episode 6 was the 4th ED they had.
What's
Had
Miku?
Miku. They had Miku. It's like it's Miku, and what's going on? They're spying through the window of a love hotel.
yeah. Yeah, but the ED's most majority of the time is like it's just kind of a song by kind of her song about her lamenting about her things, and it even has the thing of her at the very end awkwardly holding out the note a little too long.
Yep, she's off key and
and
holds it out a bit too long.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, yep, that's kind of more the ED's more along what she really is like. Yeah, so that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you can check out other episodes new to weeaboo.libsyn.com, spelled LABSYN. If you want to check that out, subscribe to the RSS feed there if you want. You can also subscribe to us in various other ways, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Oh, hey, they finally removed that button.
Oh, nice.
The Google button's gone, thank goodness. And also, you can find us on Amazon Podcasts. Search for New to Weeaboo at any of those, or click the buttons on the Libsyn site, and you'll get there and subscribe, and there you go. If you mean to contact us, you can do so via email, newtoweeaboo@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments or anime suggestions or what have you, you can do that. You can also follow our social media. It's newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com/contact. You can see the lists right there, and also find our personal accounts via those. You can, quickly find that. That's not too hard. So there you go on that front. So join us next time, because next time it will be June, which means it's Pride Month. So we're going to be talking about Sakura Trick.
Oh, jeez.
We're going to be talking about that one. And because, I've been kind of avoiding it for reasons, but I think I might as well just bring it up because, well, it's still talked about a lot.
Yes, it is.
So,
I think I haven't watched any of it, but even I know the name and such about it.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about that one first for next month, and we'll see how that goes.
Yep. Time for the rainbows.
Yep, so take care of yourselves, all that stuff, as, we get closer and closer to summer.
It's going to get warmer, at least for us in the northern half of the planet.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See ya.